Well, welcome and aloha. Welcome, everybody. I'm very happy to be connecting with you on today's podcast live stream. You probably know by now, my name is Paul Fletcher, and this is The Healing Source. And this is episode number 7, finishing up the first in this series. There will be a 6th series, and each one of the series focuses on a different aspect that Tao healing can be applied towards. This series is Tao Healing for Pain. And starting next week, I'll be doing Tao Healing for Emotions. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss any of these because they're always fun and always worthwhile. Also, if you'd like to be considered for someone to be a demonstration, then make sure that you connect with me about that. Come to my website, wellspringoflight.com, and you can sign up on my email list as well as email me directly and say you'd like to be considered for being one of the people for demonstration for healing emotions. Today, we're going to be focusing on our wrap up. I started this series approximately 7 weeks ago. And having started 7 weeks ago, somebody just popped in, so give me a moment. Having started 7 weeks ago, the intention was to be able to have everyone experience what is Tao healing, how does Tao healing work, and why is it important to have it in your life. So I'm not going to go into reiterating all of that information at this time. If you missed any of those, please go back and watch those first 3 episodes. The next couple, what I did was I did some healing demonstrations using Tao healing. And for those that are new, I will share with you a synopsis of what is Tao healing. Tao healing is source healing. Tao is a word that means source. And it is a form of using an energy transmission that I and many other powerful healers have received. And that transmission can have many different distribution modalities. So far, I have used Tao healing hands. I've used Tao song. I have even used Tao calligraphy for healing. I've offered what's called a crown chakra blessing, all of which has been utilized to assist the people that you're going to be reminded of today to help transform the negativity that brought about their pain condition. And in the previous episodes, I have explained that the reason we have suffering, according to the ancient wisdom, is that at some point in time, in this lifetime or another one, our own negative thoughts, words, or actions accumulated on our personal vibration. So when we have an unpleasant thought, when we have an unpleasant word or action towards others, it doesn't just come outside of us and never stays in our field. It stays right with us, and it creates difficulties in our life if we do not go through the process of releasing it through forgiveness. Because ultimately, we are all souls from the one soul, the one source creator. And when we harm others, we are in fact harming ourselves. And so Tao healing acknowledges that. And when a Tao healing transmission is activated, the most pure positive frequency and vibration comes through. And that positive frequency and vibration comes to that individual's field. It comes to the negativity that resides on their field. And it starts minimizing it, eliminating it, and not uncommonly, it completely washes it away and creates a very measurable positive result. I like doing demonstrations with pain because it tends to be the most easy to measure. You can say, what's your pain level now? And they can say, well, it's a 7. And then you do a 5 or 10 minute healing, and now it's down to a 2 or it's gone. This is relatively common in the field of Tao healing. It doesn't show up so readily or measurably when it comes to emotions or mindsets or finances or relationship, which I will cover in the following series. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in one of the 3 guests that I've had I have two in the background here, and we're going to welcome Monica at this time. Monica, you may remember, had some difficulty with her hand. I'll have her remind you of that. We're going to measure Monica's results so far, and then I'm going to offer Monica some additional blessing. We also have another person in the waiting, Elizabeth. And we saw Elizabeth just last week. She had some lower back difficulty. And so this week, I'm going to be using a new type of a transmission, which I'll explain that after we bring in Monica. So let me add Monica here. Welcome, Monica. Thank you for joining again today.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
And so it's been about 2 weeks since I saw you last. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. I think just about that.
Okay. And I had not met Monica before, and she had not met me. We kind of met through a mutual friend, and she knew a little bit about this form of healing because she had received Tao Hands healing from her friend, Aliel. And so, Monica, share a little bit with our audience, especially because they might be new, about what happened, a short version of your hurting your hand.
So back in August, I had an accident where I actually ended up being in the middle of a dog fight that wasn't intended for me, and my hand got in the way. So at that point, I ended up breaking my hand in the fourth and fifth metacarpal. So I had to have surgery where I had to put a pin in the fifth metacarpal and then a plate and 5 pins in the fourth metacarpal. So basically, when I had seen Aliel for a session, it was, I think, four weeks perhaps post-op, and had the experience that was quite remarkable because one of the things, because of the nerve damage, and I actually got away without having a lot of nerve damage, but when they do the incisions and all that, there was definitely a irritation. It almost felt like I had a second-degree burn on my hand when you touched it. And after Aliel had done the Tao's Shen therapy, that sensation was completely gone, almost 100% gone. Now, it eventually came back a little bit, never to that same degree, but it came back a little bit like weeks later. So I was really pretty amazed at how effective it was on this kind of traumatic hand, certainly, this kind of traumatic thing that happened to the hand. And then so that's it. It was basically, I was in a cast, I had sutures, I had all this stuff, and it's been quite the process. And now I have it. It's I'm out of the cast. I'm in therapy, and been doing a lot of work on it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. And about 2 weeks ago, we did some additional healing for it. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it appeared to me that there's a minimal effect. It looked like it caused a little bit more flexibility, and it looked to me like the hands swelling reduced a bit.
Yeah.
Has that sustained, or have you noticed any difference since then?
What was interesting was by the time we had the session a couple of weeks ago with I was getting I said that since that weird sensation, and it's a nerve sensation of like a second-degree burn feel on the skin, surface of the skin. It had come back, and again, it was one of those things where it never came back to where it had been. But after we had the session, I noticed it gradually decreased, and it was pretty much gone again, fully. And at this point, it's still pretty much gone. There's a little bit of that sensation in the back of the hand, but it seemed like after our session that took care of the next part of that. The hand has continued to decrease in swelling. In fact, one of the things my therapist said today when I went to see her is that she noticed that the edema in the hand, the pitting is gone, which was good. That was the goal, is to kind of get the swelling to come down. So it's definitely much better now. The stiffness and that is still there, but again, the being able to close my hand, it's still really progressing and not going backwards. So it's today she was pleased with the fact that I mean, I can't make a full fist in
Mhm.
comparison, but it's like much better than it was even 2 weeks ago when I went to see her.
Okay. I'm gonna text Elizabeth. I see gray on her camera. So okay. So what I'm going to do today is something that I did not do before, which I'm going to deliver what's called a Tao light ball. And the Tao light ball is another form of healing that it has a very high level of efficacy. Um, they are basically condensed light that, when transmitted, it goes to your area of request and it stays there and it's
Hmm.
permanent. And one of the values of having a Tao light ball is the recipient can be empowered to do additional healing on their own instead of coming back to the healer again and again and again.
Hmm.
So this light ball, it's basically tailor made. So I can do light balls for the condition of liver cancer or the condition of sore neck, or whatever it might be. Doesn't really matter, or for a body part, organ system, or condition. So they're one of my favorite tools to work with because it's important that the individual knows they have to do their part, but if they actually do their part, it can facilitate a much faster recovery for that individual. Okay? The Tao light ball carries very high source frequency and vibration, and because it's tailor made for that particular area, that's literally what it starts to heal. Um, the best way I can say is it puts an imprint in this example of a perfect hand into the hand.
Hmm.
And so then it starts changing the negative information that that is there to back to what is the ideal perfect form and shape of a hand.
Hmm.
So um, let me go ahead and transmit this to you, and then I'll check in and see if Elizabeth, see if the quality of her feed is good enough to come in. Okay. Tao order. Tao golden light ball, golden liquid spring of Da I for this hand, for Monica's right hand. Is that correct, or left
Just
hand?
the left hand.
Left hand, to heal and recover as quickly as possible from the trauma. Transmission. Okay. Now I'm going to guide you how to activate it, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring in Elizabeth. So repeat after me. Um, and you don't have to memorize this exactly, but this is basically you're acknowledging it's there, you're saying hello, and then you practice with it by repeating some words. So you'll acknowledge it. Dear my Tao light ball for healing my hand, I am so grateful for you. Could you please activate? That's saying hello, turning it on. So go ahead and do that.
Okay. So say again, Tao.
Dear my Tao light ball,
Here my Tao light ball
for my
for
Tao,
my
for my hands,
hands.
could you please activate?
Could you please activate?
Could you please heal and rejuvenate my hand?
Could you please heal and rejuvenate my hand?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and bring you out of the screen, and I'm going to start talking to Elizabeth. And what I want you to do is close your eyes, and I want you to silently chant, Tao light ball heals my hand. Tao light ball heals my hand.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that, and I'll come back to you in just a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Got to figure out how to move. There we go. Okay. Welcome, Elizabeth. Can you hear me okay? Looks like we have a spotty connection with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, can you hear me okay? Yeah, we got a spotty connection. Looks like she froze a bit. I know Elizabeth is out in Texas right now working on her cell phone, so her quality of her feed might be a little
Aloha,
questionable.
Paul. I can see you.
Okay, good. Yeah, your feed is very spotty, so hopefully we'll be able to have a good connection. So, Elizabeth, last time we connected, we worked on your lower back, and I talked with you once or twice since then. It sounds like it's been fluctuating. How is it today?
It's actually a lot better.
That's very good news.
It is good
Excellent.
news. It's very good news.
Yeah, you've been going through some transformation with that, huh?
I have, and I think that's a key word. And so I was thinking about what I wanted to share, Paul, because
Mhm.
venue for people for in your in everything that you're putting lining up for people. So I thought of what the lessons are here.
Mhm.
So that's why we're here. That's why we're in this lifetime on this planet. And at every turn, we have an opportunity for lessons. And I thought, I talked to my daughter a little bit. I kind of got the time wrong that you said. I thought it was an hour earlier. So we were talking about all this, waiting to come on, But anyway, the we thought, I think that there have to do with trusting the process. See, these are my P's: trusting the process, persistence, and patience. Oh my gosh. The whole system defaults. So, and I know that, so I'm a good patient in that sense. So I really, I did the program. It's like the, the, the heavens program for us is to learn these lessons and to have the persistence and the patience to trust the process and to just keep doing it. And in order to do that, it takes us deeper. And for
Mhm.
me, that was the key. So um, even though we know what to do, we don't see everything from where we are. So as we go deeper, we see more. And then it's like
Mhm.
that level can be cleared. And then we go deeper, and then that level can be cleared. You just have to keep persisting and go and know
Yeah, your connection
coming
continues to
in.
break up a little bit here and there,
Did you miss
Elizabeth.
that? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So just the point is that just to keep chanting, and the different saints will come in and tell you to chant for their name, and then they'll give you some clues. It was really great. So just know, that's the message, is just know we're in this process. We have all the help we need. We are extremely blessed. And Paul has been, for me, such a really outstanding guide. Um, what I had in that very short reading. I love these short readings, Paul, because the little bit of guidance that we had, that was the
Mhm.
key. Because then I could, rather than like looking all around, I could look at one.
Thank you,
I'm very
Elizabeth.
grateful.
I can tell you are. We do have a bit of a spotty connection, so I want to say thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for this update. Thank you for your sharing about the guidance that comes with your membership. I'm glad that you enjoy that, and I'm going to transmit a Dao light ball to you now while we can, and I know you already know how to work with them, so I'm going to transmit this to your lower back, and then you can continue to work with it to fully recover, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Dao order, Dao gold and light ball, golden liquid spring, Dao I to the lower back for Elizabeth to help her heal and recover as quickly as possible. Transmission. Wonderful. So I know you know how to work with these as you have received them before.
Mhm.
So now you can activate and continue to work with it. I'm going to pop back in and check in with Monica, who is our other guest today. And again, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing your latest update.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the opportunity to share, and thank you for really opening this path for so many people. It's really, really needed and fabulous. Thank you.
I appreciate your comments. Take care, Elizabeth. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, welcome back, Monica. So you've received now what's called a Tao light ball. I can tell by the look on your face that this was new. Like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this new toy. And you may or may not notice a difference. But go ahead and check and see if there's any shift in flexibility or anything that you might notice.
Yeah, actually, well, interesting, just like the last time when you did the healing, um, my hands activate. I get like this vibration in my hands when energy works done on me. It's something that's happened for years. So I felt that happen when you activated that. What's actually kind of interesting is not so much that it feels that there is more flexible. It's more that because there's scar tissue on the side of my hand,
Mhm.
and that has kind of a numbness to it. It'll eventually come back, they say, just because it's scar tissue.
Mhm.
But I'm almost feeling like I feel more than just the numbness. Like the numbness kind of feel is going away, and it's actually more of a regular sensation, and
Mm,
that seemed to happen after the light ball.
okay.
So yeah, and again, the sensation of the skin, it's feeling more normal on the backside.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
That's great. It's only been 5 minutes. When I do work with the Tao light balls in like a 2 hour long demonstration session,
yeah,
I tend to within the first half hour, I chat with a demo, and then I do a Tao light ball. And then we might do some Tao hands. And over the course of that time, I'll check in with them. And over the course of the next hour, they get significantly better. So the Tao light balls tend to create a pretty large shift for people. So as a reminder to you, since I kind of was relatively quick in the explanation, the Tao light ball, think of it like, and this is for the listening audience. You can receive these as well. You can contact me through my website, wellspringoflight.com. And once you receive a Tao light bulb, you want to think of it like a 1,000-watt light bulb in your house. And that's pretty bright. So you wouldn't leave it on all the time, would you? Might charge up the electric bill quite a bit. But whenever you need it, you turn it on. And you think of this the same way. It's constantly in there working, and instantly upon receiving it, it cleared more of the negative Shen Qi blockages. But when you actually turn it on, which again is basically saying hello, and although I touched on this a little bit, I'll spend one more minute on it for everybody. In the teachings that Master Sha brings to us, there's 4 powers. There is body power, which is where we place our hands, so the energy flows there. There is mind power, which is simply creative visualization. And there is sound power, which is what we're chanting. And I gave you the example, light ball heals my hands, Tao light ball heals my hands. That's what we're chanting. And what we chant creates more vibration in our point of request. And then there is the fourth of the soul powers, or 4 powers, which is called soul power. So body power, mind power, sound power. The 4th power is called soul power. And soul power basically acknowledges that Creator created everything, including all the specks of energy and matter that make us up, not just the organ, the hand, or whatever it might be. Everything has a soul is another way of saying it, because everything comes from source. And so this Tao light ball came from source also. It has a soul. When we start to acknowledge that everything has a soul, that everything came from source, we can accomplish our healing at a far faster trajectory. So when we have the simple step of saying, "Dear the Tao light ball for healing my hand, could you please turn on?" We call that saying hello. But on the higher level of understanding, what we're saying is, I recognize that you are a soul here to serve. I'm very grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And that activation, then when we chant, which is the sound power, where it's kind of like the old-fashioned flashlights, where you wind them up and the light gets brighter, 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 brighter. So when we're chanting, Tao light ball heals my hand, Tao light ball heals my hand, the light goes zoo, 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 zoo. And it's just healing and rejuvenating that area much, much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not that dissimilar from receiving a direct healing from a healer, except you're in charge of the consistency of it coming to you.
Oh.
Okay. These have been used. What's that?
And you can do that anytime.
Anytime. That's right. You can do that anytime while you're driving to work or whatever it might be. Doesn't matter. And you have a gentle intention that the light is growing and glowing in your hand, right? So if you're multitasking, which does happen in this world, then just have that intention as you're doing it. And if you can give it private time, then that's all better. The more private time you can give it, the faster it will heal. Tao light balls have been used for over 15 years now, quite successfully, for reversing major illnesses and causing major issues in people's bodies to recover a lot faster. In my time doing this, I've probably delivered maybe 2,000 of them, and high level of success if the person does the practice. Okay. So I want to say thank you to you, Monica, for coming in today. I know you've got to run back to your office and start working again, but do keep in touch about the recovery of your hand. Let me give a quick guidance, which I do for anyone I do consultation with. When they receive something, guidance is how much and how long, and then you'll have a good idea. Okay, give me a minute. Pretty simple. It says if you do a half hour a day for 4 weeks, you should have full recovery. If you do a half hour twice a day, it'll only take about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So
okay,
yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah, up to you, but
Okay.
definitely let me know.
Okay.
There's no reason you cannot have a very, very fast recovery with something like this.
Okay. I
All
will take that. I will work on that.
Okay, wonderful. I really appreciate you coming in, and we'll keep in touch.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so this was the final of this series for Tao Healing for healing pain. And we covered what, why, and how in the first 3, and then we did a couple of demonstrations. Today, the 7th in this series, I brought back 2 of the 3 people as guests to see how they were doing. And you got a good example today. Starting next week will be a brand new series, and I'm going to be focusing on healing emotions. Okay, so if you'd like to be considered, if you have a major emotional issue, whether it's depression or anxiety or fear or worry, concern, grief, sadness, anger, right, then make sure you let me know, and I will consider you for a demonstration person on that series. If I follow the same pattern as this one, it'll be 7 or 8 shows in that series, and there will be probably at least 2 and maybe 3 demonstrations that I will do. Probably won't be right away. It'll be around the 3rd or 4th series, 3rd or 4th installment in that series. Okay, so make sure you tune in next week, and we're going to start doing some education and teaching of the Tao wisdom around where do these emotions come from? How come we have excess anger? Why am I always depressed? There's a reason for this. And again, we'll come into how this gets anchored in our field and how we can excavate it from our field so that we don't have to have this suffering in our lives anymore. I want to remind you that you can always subscribe at whatever podcasts you're comfortable with. I'm in all of the big guys, Spotify and iHeartRadio, Apple, Google, Amazon, all the podcasts. You can subscribe to any one of them. And you can also come to my website, wellspringoflight.com, and make sure you're part of my email list. I do have a membership program that you can get daily healing. And of course, once you're in the program, you have lots of opportunity for individual healing as well as private consultation. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you all very soon. Until then, have an awesome day. Bye-bye, everybody.